The women's finals featured two seasoned players in Maudlyn, Blunt and Rachel Smith, and it was Blunt facing the screen who took early command of the matchup. We saw some long rallies, but Smith hits out of court here and Blunt gets the point. Blunt with the serve, Smith returns, and this rally is testimony of the quality of this final. Both women keeping the play going. Smith coming to the net to deliver a soft return, but Blunt responds with a good backhand as both were going shot for shot, before Blunt said enough is enough and put a bit more power behind the return to beat Smith to her left. And while I thought Smith could have pressed harder to deliver more kills in the game, she did gain some points by forcing Blunt to respond with too much pressure to go out of court to her advantage. And while it was not a walk in the park as the rallies were long, it was Blunt who would claim the first game at 21-18. The tables were turned in the second as Smith, now facing the screen, claimed it to the upper hand and had Blunt really working hard to keep up, hitting the ball all over the court before switching up to sweetly drive down the line. Blunt was very not in tune like in the first game as Smith kept the pressure on, so much so she held Blunt to 14 with this unforced error. And from there it was a Smith show as she totally shut out Blunt. Smith was in her element and delivered the blows to take the second game at 21-14. And with things leveled, both ladies came hard in the decisive third game. It was a fight from the first serve with the agility and technique on full display before Smith claimed this one timed and placed well. You could see on Smith's face she meant business and was not easing up in delivering the lethal shots. But in the grand scheme of things, Blunt turned on the heat in the latter part of the encounter and maintained her calm and easy approach and had Smith chipping out. Smith had no response here. And this is where it was won. Blunt gave a match point and Smith comes up short. Blunt, the women's champion, the final game won at 21-12. The men's final was not as competitive as Emar Edwards backing the screen got the better of Shaquem Nurse in straight games, taking the first at 21-19, and in this second one, frustrating Nurse to also be in early command. But Nurse was not going to sit back and just take it and had Edwards on his toes, the two going shot for shot, before Nurse delivered his signature down the line play with the lagging pose. When Nurse gets in the groove, he takes no prisoners, and where Edwards creates the opening, you sure bet Nurse will capitalize. But what beats Nurse at times is attitude, and having fallen behind, he was getting frustrated, and with every error, Edwards extended that lead. At this stage, Edwards was at match point. Nurse served, but Edwards sent it into the net, giving Nurse a slim glimmer of hope. The score now 20-11. And here's where it was won by Edwards. Nurse goes too long out of court. Emar Edwards, the winner of the men's title for the Kilombo Community Road Tennis Tournament.